What's up, everyone? Aubrey Trades here, coming at you with the morning trade recap. You know, pretty decent, nothing crazy, but I am walking away up $8. You know, proud of myself for the most part for sticking to my risk management system. I did not arbitrarily size into any play. I always did the calculations to have a defined dollar risk and risk level set. I did pretty good with taking some starter positions early morning, pre-market, and then just sitting on my hands to let them work. Although I did cut a few of them prematurely, something that I got to work on. And at this point, I think I just want to walk away because some of the setups, you know, they're kind of like in that war zone area, or I think of like NEGG right now, right? Like 21 is really the break point. So to get in here, like it's crowded. There's a lot of sells. There's a lot of buys. It's just like it's gonna teeter here. So I wouldn't want to buy something like NEGG without setting a dollar risk and risking to like the low of this 5-minute candle at the very least. But even that is like 20.39. That's like you got to give yourself 70-80 cents of wiggle room, right? Depending on what your dollar risk is going to be. So getting into the trades though, a few of them, AHP, ASTR, CXDC, NEGG, and one. Let's just jump right into it. I mean, my mains were probably like one and CXDC, just because they were the sub-dollar plays that I really thought I could size into well if they worked. We'll go click the show trades just so you know it's real. So one thing, I'm always going to be transparent with you guys. You know, that we're all in this together. It is a journey. I do not profess to be a professional by any means. I am just a beginner, and I like using these as like trade journals, and maybe I help a couple people on my come up. Took a teaser position, 150 shares at 81 cents. Now that's, you know, not crazy, right? It's a little over $100, but again, I calculate my share position based on risk. So I'm taking this at 81, basically 80, you know, I might think of it as 82, but you know, 81, whatever. And I'm telling myself I gotta risk like 75 at least, right? And even the better thing to do is to risk, you know, this 74 and a half. That was my line I was gonna give it. So I took that position here. I ended up selling at 82 when this I was hoping for this retest of the 90 area. And once that stopped really happening, you know, we kind of had this moment, and I was like, okay, no, I want to get the full move, especially if I'm risking 5 cents. You know, I want to get the 2-to-1, and then I cut for, you know, a small gain when it started showing that it wasn't really going to do the thing. So we got out here 82.7, somewhere around here in the wick, you know, but just as well because this ended up fading all the way down to 77. Which means, you know, sure, my risk was here, but I feel like I saved myself. Although, who knows? Maybe this, like, now we kind of have this structure going from this top to this, right? And we have this little uptrend going here. So I think maybe what happens is that we sort of consolidate in here for a while, and then maybe we have some big breakout to the upside later in the day. That's what I'm going to be looking out for. Until then, you know, I'm just gonna hang around. Maybe I take a starter position, you know, if we hang around here in the 77s, and then I would risk exactly, you know, where this trend breaks, because that then kind of shuts my thesis down, right? I still think these support levels are most important. You know, I think we could definitely see a retest of the 90s coming up. So be wary. Next one I want to talk about is going to be CXDC. There we go. This is one that I liked more because it just had more range. Here we have the support line in the 68 area, which I kind of, It's not the best because we sort of float underneath it a little bit, and we kind of had this like where it gave up a little bit. So it's not the cleanest support, but we did have a couple touches here. We had a touch here. We had a touch kind of here. But it's a little, it's a little messy. So I just did the best I could. But I entered in at 73. I wanted to risk what? I wanted to risk, if it was 200 shares, then I probably wanted to risk like 10 cents. Which means, is that correct? Sorry. There we go. So I gave myself 10 cents worth of risk. For 73, that meant I'm giving myself till 63 because I knew that this was sort of messy, right? 63 is giving myself the low of this low. So I'm like giving myself so much room to be wrong. But I do that because I'm taking a pre-market position. It's because I'm sort of like watching other things. And I don't want to feel like I got to be here babysitting the entire time, right? I want to be able to pull up other tickers, and I got the hard stop in place, but I got plenty of wiggle room so I don't have to stress, right? I can come back, I can check on it, which is exactly what happened. I came back, I checked on it, and I sold my 200 shares at 75. Early, right? Definitely way early because this candle got all the way up to 78 almost. Rebought 250 at 82, selling for a little bit of a loss here at 58, but then taking 250 at 80 once we kind of held this, and I didn't even have any of these studies up as I was trading. I'm going back and forth. I'm still trying to figure out what works for me. I know some guys just do the trend lines with the candles. Some people just like VWAP. Some people have all this other stuff. So I'm trying just like the price action and the lines. That way it keeps me focused on price levels. But, sometimes I like this, call it my cloud study. And that is because I call it my cloud study because it's just a bunch of like moving averages. Like the purple one is VWAP. We got the whole moving average here. And then this is like a moving average cloud, right? Anyway, pretty cool. Let me get rid of this daily SMA. I think that'll make the candles bigger. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And we'll get rid of the studies too. Whatever. I don't need to clutter up the video. Re-entering here, 250 shares at 80 cents, and then selling at 84 on this push to new highs. Again, not quite getting the top. That's fine. I don't need to get the top. It feels good, but I don't need it. I have a habit of like waiting for the top to be in, and then it's like, oh, okay, this is looking weak. Oh, okay, this is looking weak. Let me get out. This maybe still works. I mean, like I said, this has so much room. This can go all the way up. Resistance is in the 90s, basically $1. If we go here to the 5-minute, we can see we pushed 103 here a few days ago. That's really what I'm looking for. If we go to this daily chart, check out this bottom chart. I love how this is shaping up. We got this long, we got, an uptrend on the dailies looking good. Just, it's good stuff. I like it. But this is going to be important. This might take the whole day to grind up. And once I cut this position early, and I kind of knew I did too. I was like, not the greatest idea. I knew I was sort of chasing the move. Now we're kind of like in this midway section of the move. Maybe there's a good entry opportunity if the 78 cents section holds, if we see a bounce. It's looking like we're a little more heavily weighted here on the ask, but we got a good block here at 783. I like using the active trade ladder too because it sort of groups everything together. Slightly more stronger on the buy side, but anything really could happen. The point being, I think it was just time to walk away. I'm going to get into some other things for the day. It'd be one thing if my ideal way of executing this trade, I'll tell you, is 200 test shares here, right? And then instead of selling here at the 75, I end up looking for this pullback. Oh, it confirms like the uptrend is still intact. I'll add here, can, pop some off over 80, maybe, right? You can add when this, when we don't break the low of the previous 5-minute candle, take another add. Like that's the ideal way that I want to play these. So the fact that I cut some of these early, I cut a lot of these early actually, just means like, okay, I'm in a fidgety mindset. I'm going to walk away even though I'm only up $8 for the day. It's fine. Those are the main two. I'll go over the other three more quickly though. NEGG, bounce play. Did I make the most on an NEGG? Huh, I almost did. That's funny. NEGG taking a small position at 20.32, right around here. For this bounce play, knowing that we had a ceiling up here, selling at 20.82. A little late, I tend to wait for the top to come in, it seems like. Yeah, look at this. Selling at 20.82. That means I'm getting in all the way down here. Sometimes these candles, like they pull, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm out. Right. I got 40 cents. That's fine. And this is like small. I'm pretty sure 16 shares at 20.32 is like, I must be risking low of day for sure. So I'm taking, 1975 and I'm at 32. So 85, 95, 05, 10, 20. Giving myself 50 cents. 50 cents of risk, which is like 20 divided by 50 cents is 40. And what if I made this, sometimes I do like half risk. That's probably closer. And then I made it 16 instead of 20 just because I was unsure about it. Because I wasn't really like going into the day thinking that NEGG was going to be on my watch. Like if you look at my last pre-market watch list video, I didn't even cover it at all. I don't think I even covered it on the Sunday study session just because, it's higher priced and whatever. But once it started to, I saw that it was working. Someone brought it up in the chat and I was like, oh, okay, I'll take a small half risk. I'll risk low of day and I'll just see, so definitely like worst case, if this went to low of day, I was going to lose like $10, whatever. I was okay with that. ASTR, AHPI. Let's go to ASTR. Look at the daily here. This is looking for a third day surge action. Nice little uptrend. Didn't give it to us today though. I took my 50 shares at 11.06, cut at 96 because this trend was looking pretty broken. Although if I was risking low of day, I was risking 10.82. I could have seen a profit here. So this is an unfortunate mistake. This is an unfortunate mistake that comes from cutting before your risk level is hit. So that is, that's one of today's losers that came from waiting for the risk, from cutting before the risk level was hit. AHPI, another one, 983 or 913, selling at 893. 30 shares here, thinking I'm buying this. Here's the thought. I'll tell you the thought. I missed the pop. I'm like, okay, we have this little bit of a flag going on, right? If we're not looking at this stuff, right? 913. I'm like, okay, cool. Up to new highs. I'm risking here, right? 893. I'm risking here, like the bottom of this pullback zone, thinking we're going to form a flag and push up. 893, I'm out, which is exactly, this was my stop getting hit, actually. AHPI was my stop getting hit, only because I knew I was entering early here. Let's see. 913, 893, 20 cents of risk. And I'm still like playing it on the low side. That could have been 100 shares if I was $20 risk, and it was more on $10 risk. Maybe I was risking. I know for a fact that's my stop loss going off. Beep. What are we looking at? AHPI. Because I'm curious. Stop. Yep. Look at this. Bam, bam, bam. That's my stop getting hit. So I did set my stop there. I don't know why I sized in. I mean, I'm glad I sized in as small as I did, because that saved me from taking a bigger loss. It was only $6, but you know, if I gave a wide risk, something that would be more typical, especially if I'm thinking we're gonna pull a move to 980, you know, would I want to risk 840 on an 890 entry? That might have been my thought too, and then I was like, wait a minute, if I'm gonna risk 890, 840, 50 cents, 50 cents from 913 is 960. Like, that's just 1-to-1, and I wanted something a little better, so I thought I would risk here, thinking that we were gonna continue up, and I got stopped out. That's all right. And I took a smaller position because I already knew I missed the big, like, you know, the move. My ideal, you know, the ideal thing I think is to see the setup sort of happening in pre, either get in on this dip and rip, right? Bam, bam. Or you take your starter position in pre, and this is the thing that I've been finding to work for me, taking the starter position in pre, right? Maybe somewhere around here, maybe in the 860s, maybe, you know, maybe 8s. I'm not gonna, maybe 870. You want to really? Yeah, maybe. But I wouldn't want to, you know, if I'm entering around here, I'm not going to risk, like, at the very least, right? I'm thinking I'm going to at least risk pre-market lows of 830. And if I want to be more conservative, I'm going to risk 813, right? And then I can be here for this move. I can be here for the move. I know we got a 10 test coming up, right? Maybe I cut here because this is like, you know, getting back into your entry zone. But if your risk is down here, you can wait. Like, you can wait, right? I'm not very good at waiting, clearly, as you can see. But I don't know. Maybe I would have cut when we crossed in, you know, crossed back into this trend line zone. But it did end up working. So I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? And that was it, right? I think that is all for our watch list. 95. 1106, and I had a stop. You know, if I had the stop set at 1080, that's a situation where, you know, I shouldn't have let myself stop out at 1096. But that's okay. I wonder if can I look and stop, sell, buy. I want to look. I want to find my stops for ASTR. Stop ASTR 1083. ASTR 1083. Look at that. And I okay, so this is like an example. Again, don't stop out early. Wait for the risk to be hit. I was risking right here on the trend line, 1083. Yeesh. Okay. Well, tomorrow's a new day. I'm glad, you know, I'm glad to be green, right? Even if it is only $8, small gains add up over time, right? So, I'm gonna keep that in mind. Hope you all did well. Let me know in the comments below how you did, if you had any big winners, or some insights that you've made into your own trading that you think might be useful. I don't know. Hopefully y'all took something from this. I'll see you tomorrow. Good luck. Aubrey, out.